Thank you very much, Julia. Thank you very much also, Elisa, for being here today and assisting us during these presentations. So, thank you very much, you all, also for joining this event. So, I really ask you to be as active as possible and ask as many questions as possible, so that if you have doubts or interests or anything, curiosities, I'm very happy to reply and give you all the tips and advices that I hope you need. So first of all, let me introduce myself. I am Susanna Testa. I am a researcher and I work at Politecnico di Milano. My main expertise are in the field of accessories, jewelry, as well as fashion tech, so the technological innovation applied and for the field of fashion. I am the coordinator both of the Master of in Accessory Design as well as the Master in Fashion Tech. So I will be telling you and giving some overview of both of the masters. First of all, I would like to tell you that the two different masters, they have, of course, a different topic and a different specialization, but they both are very similar in terms of their main DNA. What do I mean for this? I mean that the attitude and let's say the methodological approach used is the one specific of the Politecnico di Milano, which means a trademark that has its own roots both on experimentations, which means having an eye towards innovations, so contaminations with different fields as well as with new technologies, but also respect for traditions. So these are the two main drivers of the two masters. And as well, another important thing that creates a sort of a difference between what we teach at Politecnico di Milano is the actual approach and the eye to the market. What does it mean by this? It means that the masters, both of the masters, start from to meet the needs of what the companies and the market is looking for. Not only in terms of product, so also in terms of innovative products, well-made products, but also in terms of professionals, so designers that have both technical as well as creative skills. So, given this overview, which is an overview of both of the two masters, I'm going to start as per the program shared with the accessory design. So let me share the presentation with you. Okay. Okay, here we are. So, as I said, let's start with the master, the specializing master in accessory design. So first of all, I would like to start with the reason. So why to apply to this master? What is the need of this master? So so I don't know if you know already about this, but today accessory define fashion. So if you give a look to the main, the most important fashion brands today, you can see that the income most of the time comes from accessories. So accessories are the symbol of class, symbol of identity, and they perpetuate the artisanal expertise of made in Italy craftsmanship throughout time. So these are crucial elements in the process of creating a fashion brand today. They are essential in defining its identity and value. So I really encourage you also on thinking about your consumer habits, so your habit as a consumers, and check what do you usually purchase. So most of the time, people tend to purchase accessories rather than garments, most of the fact that they tend to last in time. So this is also an important insight. So in case you wondered, there is always a significant need of accessory designer able to manage the different phases and process of the value chain. So let's go into details about the specializing master in accessory design. The specializing master in accessory design, just to give you a little bit of a general indication, is directed by Professor Alba Cappellieri, and she is a professor in jewelry and accessory design, as well as the director of the Jewelry Museum in Vicenza. So the overall idea is really to bring the two different souls, which is the soul of the research, the soul of the scientific investigation we bring forward at Politecnico di Milano, together with the activities that happen out in the sector of jewelry and accessory design, which can be exhibitions, can be consultancy activities. So it's really important to understand that the DNA of the master is really well rooted onto these different souls. So as I said before, the goals is really to create, to establish this master in accordance with the spirit and the tradition of Politecnico di Milano, which means connecting hands and mind. So we have our praxis is both, let's say, established on a practical approach, so really measuring yourself with prototyping, like for example, at the beginning of the course, we tend to have a preliminary phase dedicated to exercising on prototypes, as well as mind. So for sure, all that part dedicated to research and concept development. We both merge experimentation and tradition. So as I said before, we have the luck of being here in Italy. So we have a significant knowledge that we can bring to the fore, and we try as much as possible to value it in terms of innovation through new technology. So this is really important because it's a really significant element of our master. What is more, we really also try to manage technology. So all those applications brought by the digital shift, such as, for example, digital modeling, digital prototyping, mixed with 3D and CAD design, together also with the rediscovery of handicraft and manual procedures. So the specializing master provides all these methodological tools and design skills to become accessory designer. So from the research all the way to the product development. Why am I saying this? I'm saying this because maybe you don't have an idea on today on what an accessory designer can do. The master is also here to give you first an overview and the different possibilities that an accessory designer can become once graduated. Of course, it's really also important to understand that the professional we are forming and we are educating are not standing alone, but are professionals able to cope with the different phases of the value chain. So we have an approach that is not an approach only dedicated to the product itself, but to the entire system. So what is called the fashion design system. So really going through the material research, understanding the technological process, but also being able to innovate and applying innovative procedures and materials and technologies to the design process, from the ideation to the project development all the way to the final presentations. For us also that has a really significant important, as the final phase, the phase dedicated to the communication and retail, applied to, of course, the field of fashion, of accessory design, as a significant importance to for the placement of the product. As I said this also because for us it's really important to deliver the message that we do not form artists, we do not form stylists, but we form designers. Designers that can apply a very rigorous and scientific approach and methodology towards the field of accessory design. So this also means that creativity is not something necessarily that you are born with, but it's something that you can exercise and learn. So, and this is something we actually do and experience at Politecnico di Milano. So, this just to give you a briefly explanation of the professional outcomes of the master. Regarding the structure. So the structure the master is 1 year total. So it starts end of November this year and will end 12 months after. So beginning of December, end of November 2021. And it's mainly divided into three different phases. So you will go through first phase, which will be theoretical phase. So in this phase, you will have the chance to get to know a little bit more about the field of the accessory sector, from different perspectives. So the idea is to have an overview of what accessory and luxury field deals with today. So both on a cultural level, historical level, but also, for example, all that sector dedicated to trend scouting, trend forecasting, and also another phase dedicated to retail and marketing. After this phase, you will go through another phase which will be dedicated to tools experiencing. Of course, it will be a 2 weeks long phase, and you will have the chance to have lessons dedicated to 3D modeling. In this case, we've been using Rhino, but also graphics and representation. So you will have lessons dedicated to Adobe InDesign, Adobe Photoshop, and Illustrator, and some tips of graphic compositions, and also a part dedicated to photography. This phase is crucial. It's crucial because it will be propedeutic to the workshops phase, which come after. We really recommend the student. Of course, we will give you some knowledge and background on the tools, as I said, but we really ask to students to be as familiar as possible with these tools I mentioned, because of course 2 weeks gives you an overview, an idea, but of course it's not going to be so much in detail. So if you are interested in applying to this master, we highly recommend to already have be skilled in a way with the use of these different tools. After this phase, you will have the workshops. The workshop phase is the core phase together with the internship of the master. We are really proud of this. We really have gathered great experts coming from different fields, and each and everyone will give you their perspective about a specific typology of products, of accessory product. So we'll have, for example, head design. Head design has a very specific, for example, as I was saying before, some workshops are much more practical, some other are much more theoretical. In this case, head design has a very practical approach, so students really will get into the actual making of the head design. So they won't only do prototypes as most of the times, but they will actually craft a headpiece from scratch, of course with the help of the professional involved. Eyewear design, watch design, jewelry design, handbag design, leather design, luggage, shoe, sportswear are the main topics covered by the different workshops. The workshop lasts 5 days. So you will have, of course, each and every workshop, as I said, will be guided by a professional, sometimes coupled also with a company. For example, during this edition, the one that is still on, we worked together with Fratelli Piccini for the workshop in jewelry design, and at the end of the workshop, they also had a contest among the different students, and the winning student had the chance to go through an internship with them. So workshop lasts 5 days from the launch of the brief on the first day, all the way through the research phase, the design phase, the prototype development, and on the last day, the presentation, the digital presentation in front of the class and of the teachers. So it's very intense, of course, because it's not easy, as you can imagine, to deliver an entire project from scratch, but we see wonderful results at the end of this experience. And we've been testing now this methodology. This is the 8th edition, so with great results. So we can say that it works really well, and companies are really happy about the aptitude, the design aptitude, the methodology our students can develop in such a short time also. Then after this phase, you will go through another, let's say, 2 weeks, 1 week, accordingly, phase dedicated to the portfolio. Portfolio and presentation is crucial, as well as you can do the best projects ever, but if you don't know how to communicate them properly, then it's wasted. So we really give a lot of importance to this phase. You will be developing both a digital and a physical portfolio. And then you will have another phase dedicated to the internship. The internship, usually, I mean, it lasts for 100 hours. And we will do our best to match your interest, your portfolio skills, together with the company of the sector. We will go through a meeting, an interview together to understand which are your desiderata, your desires in terms of placement. Then at the end of this, of the internship period, at the end of the year, so November, December, you will have the final project. So an exam where you will present the best projects you developed during the course and the work developed during the internship as well. So now, of course, we also have gone through the digital shift, and this has brought. I mean, of course, we went through the digital shift brought by, unfortunately, COVID-19, and we have already started. We were forced to experience this new didactic methodology this year. Of course, we don't want to shift everything into the digital mode, but we want all students to be safe and not be worried about this. So what we've been deciding, I mean, what POLI.design has decided is to keep the first part until end of January, in a digital mode. So the part dedicated to the theoretical lessons and the tools will be managed virtually during the afternoon. So in order to allow all participants from different time zones to be able to join without issues. And then having a blended mode from February on. So the workshop space can be done physically in class. Of course, if you will be in countries where this won't be still possible, we also allow those students to participate digitally also for that phase. So as I said before, I mean, I already gave you some reasons why it is important today to deal and cope with accessories. But I want you to, what is more, understand that the possibilities are really a lot, and today we had the chance to, since as I said it's the 8th edition, to see our students really getting into the market. So our students today work for Alexander McQueen, just to give you some names, Alexander McQueen, Comete, Damiani for high jewelry, Pasquale Bruni as well, Christian Dior, Furla, Zanellato. I'm just gonna give you some names to give you an overview, but also, for example, Luxottica, Samsonite for luggages, Valentino, Vogue, Versace, Adidas, Vernier. These are just some names that we are in contact with and where our students now are placed and work. So as you can see, those are internationals as well as Italian, and now we are continuing in keeping relationships with these companies, also to allow the possibility for our other students to be able to have an internship and start a career in this sense. Another very important aspect, which of course is an aspect that really is similar also for the Master in Fashion Tech, is the fact that we really encourage as much as possible multicultural and multidisciplinary environment. Of course, the Master will be in English, the Master is international and hosts students from all over the world. And this is one of the main and the most precious features about this Master. We encourage as much as possible these sort of exchanges among students, as these contacts will be then really important for you for your also future career development. So always really pay attention to relationship and contacts you will make because it will be really important for your professional development. And okay, so just to now move into the more, let's say, technical part. if you are interested, what to do. So if you're interested, we ask you to upload by no later than October the 28th the list of material I'm showing right now. So a CV with all your experiences developed so far, a motivation letter, a presentation motivation letter of why you would like to apply to the master. A portfolio, of course, if you come from another field, not, but if you are come from design or architecture, we ask you to provide a portfolio of projects that you developed so far. Bachelor degree, university transcript, and ID card or passport. Then you will go through, once you've sent all this material, you will go through an interview where we discuss your experiences, your studies, your projects, your motivations as well, and then you will receive a feedback on this by a commission, a dedicated commission. I think I'm done with my presentation, but if you have a question, I'm very happy to reply and give you some notes regarding it.
Thank you so much, Susanna Testa. That was very interesting. And thank you for everyone for staying connected. Remember, you can ask your questions in the Q&A section, and we're going to address a few of them just now. We had somebody asking if there would be a possibility to create your own brand while being part of the program.
Okay, so
what would be the modality?
We are not requiring you, of course, to develop your own brand, but we will gladly support you on doing this. In fact, the last phase, I mean, during the workshops, I think it's good for you if you really try as much as possible to experience different modalities, also different aesthetics, different kinds of, I mean, really immersing yourself into what the teachers and the company is asking you to develop, because it's a part of the educational process. But once you've done this, during the portfolio phase, we are also helping you in shaping your own personal identity. So since, I mean, we ask students to be really flexible, as also as professional, you guys will need to be. For sure, we will require you to develop a portfolio of projects to be able to work in companies. But if you want to also start thinking about your own personal brand, we will support you in doing this as well. I don't know if I...
Yes, definitely. And if somebody were to design a whole collection, is that a possibility as well within the program?
A whole collection dedicated to the single piece. So it really depends on the brief, because some workshop will require you to develop a collection. Some other ones will be dedicated only to the development of a single piece. So it will be different according to the requirement of the different challenge given by the single workshop. So the workshops are something like 10 workshops, so it will be very intense. So it's not like you will have the time to really think about other things in that very moment. Then of course you will have time and we will support you.
Great. We had an earlier question about the internships, asking what type of companies you work with and what sort of value to the internship is given in the application, and what package do you offer?
So no, as I said before, we have very many contacts with the companies, as we've been doing now this master for a while, and we work with Politecnico, and Professor Cappellieri has been working in the field for a really long time. of course, it depends on the availability of each and every year. So it's not like we can know in advance and promise already all those names. But since many of our ex-students now work there, we tend to have a personal relationship with these people. So the names I mentioned before are true. Also, if you Google now on our website, you can see all the different brands we collaborated with, and we are in touch with, let's say, friends with, both in the field of consumer goods, so like more commercial brands, let's say, and also high-end position brands as well. So it really depends. And we encourage as much as possible, of course, internships where students can learn things and giving an added value to their professional career, of course. So research project, design projects, and so on.
Great. Maybe something about the application process. What sort of, do you require a portfolio? Is there an interview? How does it work?
Yes, so as I said before, for the interview, we ask you to upload, first of all, some material, which is CV, motivational letter, so why you would like to apply to the master. Then a portfolio of projects, so especially if you already developed project in the field of design or architecture, but also if you have an experience somewhere else, we really would like to see what are your skills, what is your taste, how you usually work, how you usually design, to understand your level. And then after this, you will go through an interview, so an interview with a committee, where you will have to present your titles, your professional career, the works you've been developing, and also giving the reason why you are interested in the master, as well as what the master will be able to also, what you can bring to the master as well, because it's going to be an exchange. As I said before, for us it's really crucial that you really are be able to be part of a team. I mean, most of the projects will be done individually, but you will also be working in a very interactive environment, and so for sure we really need people who are also open to this kind of experience.
Great. We have someone asking if fashion accessories are given more importance in the field rather than essential accessories.
It really depends. What do you mean with essential accessories, though?
I'm not sure what the person, maybe if the person can explain what they meant.
If you explain me, I will definitely try to.
Maybe they meant compared to designing accessories that are not strictly fashion accessories, maybe for the house or...
Okay, I'm not really aware about the other field. I usually tend to have an idea about the positioning of fashion accessories with in comparison to garments, for example. But in this case, I'm not sure about other kind of accessories. If you mean like homeware or things like this, I don't really know the numbers, I have to admit.
We have somebody asking if they could apply to 2 masters at the same time. For example, the fashion technology and the accessories one. Is that possible?
Nobody has ever asked this. So for this, I ask Elisa because I don't know. I mean, it's gonna be in the same time, so I think it's gonna be a little bit complicated.
Because the project that you have to upload is very different for the 2 masters. I guess we'll go into it now. Okay, maybe
no, but
you can tell us.
Time. So basically the launch will be the same day and they will happen the same period. So there will be definitely like an overlapping of the 2, and it will be a little bit complex for you to be able to join both of them.
Well, yes, mainly. That's one point. I guess that in case, for example, they wish to apply for both because maybe they don't have clear ideas about the one and the other, and so they would like to maybe fix an interview for both one and the other in order to understand a little bit more, and mainly have a sort of coaching by Susanna as well to understand their future. Maybe how do they imagine their professional future. Of course they can let's say apply for both of them, meaning to explain also a little bit to Susanna in the motivational letter which are the aspects in which they are interested for one, that is the master in accessories design, and why they are interested, which are the aspects that are interesting for them for the fashion technology master. And so mainly the application, let's say, can be done for both, but of course, as Susanna was saying, of course, the masters are taking place at the same time, so you can only take part to one at a time. So mainly in the end you need to make a choice and to decide which one, because it's, I mean, according to the Italian law, you cannot be enrolled into two different masters at the same time, and it would be as well very complicated to manage also from the practical point of view.
True.
Thank you so much. So yeah,
as Elisa was saying, of course now I'm delivering a presentation, like a public presentation, but I'm very happy to schedule an appointment with you to discuss more in detail your ideas, and even as a preliminary meeting, a preliminary interview. We can for sure have a discussion moment where you explain to me what are your doubts and things.
Great, thank you. The person who was asking about the accessories has specified what they meant. So they meant essential accessories like luggage, trolleys, or mobile cases.
Okay, it's a totally different sector, and I mean, if you think about it right now, luggages are a little bit stuck because of the current situation. So it really depends also on what happens around the world, let's say. So for sure now, for example, facial masks are definitely one of the main accessories purchased. Luggages are a little bit less, but of course it changes throughout time. So
great. Maybe since we have people connected from all over the world today, could you tell us about how international is your cohort? Do you welcome applications from all over the world?
Yeah, as I said before, this is one of the most precious elements of our master. So really, we do believe in a multicultural and a multidisciplinary environment. And we are working as much as possible to foster the dialogue among the different professionals. This is true for this master. This is very true for the Master in Fashion Tech. So for us, innovation and really the most interesting projects today come from contamination. Contamination does not only mean contaminating with different inspirations, but it means contaminating different fields, contaminating different approaches and different methodologies. Let's think about the merger between really fashion and science, new materials. Let's think about the application of graphene today. Let's think about all that happens with the fashion tech. I'm gonna shift it in a bit to this topic as well. But really, for us, embracing different backgrounds. So for example, you will be sitting next to people that might have for sure come from somewhere else in the world, studied maybe design as you have or not in different schools, but maybe also, I don't know, maybe they're engineers with a very, very, I don't know, interest into accessory design, and is from that really exchange. So you might be very, very good in, I don't know, like working with CAD, and the other ones might be very, very good in I don't know, like working with graphics, and that's where you actually, you know, learn and exchange perspectives both on design but also on tools, as well as cultural aspects as well. So for sure this is one of the most important aspects of the master.
Great, thank you. Maybe one last question about the internship process. Are they all based in Italy, or can people also apply in other countries? And or do they have to be speaking Italian, or can they happen in English?
So it's really various. So we have contacts here in Italy for sure, as we are based here, but we also have very many contacts abroad. As I said, some students of ours now work at Alexander McQueen in London, people from work in Adidas, we have people working in Switzerland. So it's really various. Of course, for the internship, we then need to figure out a little bit more about the visa, because that's another aspect we need to take into consideration of. So for sure, if you know English, yeah, I didn't say English is one of it's an important requirement for the course, because of course the course, it's international, will be held in English, and of course if you know English, most likely you'll be able to join a company without too many difficulties.
Great, thank you so much, Susanna. We have two questions. So we have a person who has a bachelor's degree from India. Is there a percentage for CGPA needed for the selection?
This I'm going to ask offices, because I'm not sure about it.
No, there is no specific GPA for the application. Mainly what you will be required in terms of selection process will be to upload both your CV, portfolio and so on, and also to upload for us the scanning of your bachelor and the scanning of your transcript. So mainly it will be evaluated from the let's say technical point of view in terms of being recognized in the Italian system or not, but that's the only evaluation that is done, because mainly from the, let's say, soft point of view, your profile is evaluated by the master board in terms of CV and portfolio. So the GPA is not taken into consideration at this point.
Thank you, Elisa. There's a person who has developed their own brand, producing mainly t-shirts, mugs, phone cases, and posters. Can this be included as an asset in the portfolio?
Sure, like, so whatever you've been working on for us is interesting, because we value, I mean, we also go a little bit beyond the product itself, because if you already knew how to do accessories, for sure, of course, it's a specializing master. So we are requiring a certain level of skills, a certain level of background. But this does not mean like you need to have been developing accessories the whole year of your life, because otherwise might not be so useful for you, the course itself. But we are really we want to see how you approach a project, how you, for example, work on graphics, your aesthetic I'd say aspect, so how you work with images and different things. So for sure it's fine if you add also other projects that come from different fields.
Great. Speaking of which, do people need to know how to use specific software for the
Yes,
course?
so there will be a part dedicated to the tools. So as I said, you will have one main part as a like didactic, okay? One part internship. Within the didactic part, you will have one part dedicated to theoretical lessons on accessory and the fashion system, one part dedicated to the tools. These tools are Rhino, Adobe Photoshop, InDesign, and Illustrator, and tips of graphics, and photography. And then you have the workshops. For that very part of tools, we will give you lessons, but we very highly suggest you to already be practical with those programs, because they are those tools you will use to deliver the projects. So there is not much time then during the workshops to learn them. Of course, you will get more used to them and you will be better and better, and you will learn different tricks. But it's better if you already have a background on these. So if you've never worked with, for example, graphics, it's better if you're interested in joining the course, do, for example, some online lessons, working on tutorials before joining the course. Same for Rhino. So you will learn something, but if you want to be get the most out of those workshops, it's better to be already skilled, at least on a basic level, with that program.
Great. Okay, the very last questions, and then I think we can start speaking about the fashion technology masters. The percentage between the theory and the practical project, what would you say? How is it divided? How much theory, how much practice?
No, it's very much practice-based. Also because we really do think that learning in the field and learning by doing is essential for a designer. But you need also theory. So this is why you will have an initial phase dedicated to the theory, because it's important to understand where you're at, what the sector is working on, and so on. But of course, then you will be really guided step by step within the design project process in each and every project. So really imagine that you will have 5 days from 9 to 6 working with the professional who will hold the workshop. To teach you how to design with their own methodology. So it's very interesting because each and every workshop will give you a perspective not only on the typology of accessory itself, so head design, shoe design, jewelry design, but also their own specific way of designing, because as a designer, I do not design as another of my colleague, for example, because I have my own methodology. And so this is a good idea, to understand also which will be your methodology, because of course we are all different and you will need also to understand, and maybe some people are much more practice oriented and they need to develop a prototype, like a paper prototype, to understand the shapes and things like this. Some other one of you will sketch a lot. Some other one of you will, I don't know, go through a very intense research, and they will work on collage, and they will, I don't know, be much more conceptual. I'm just saying, but this is important to understand your own pathway.